They said he'd never make it. Too small, too slow, too quiet. But what they didn't know was that he was learning to suffer better than anyone else. While they were celebrating small wins, he was studying losses. While they were sleeping, he was awake, hurting but awake. And one day, when everyone else quit, he was still standing. This isn't about luck. This is about learning to outlast everyone. Let me tell you something nobody wants to hear. Talent fades. Motivation fades. Even passion burns out. You know what doesn't fade? Discipline. There are people out there who are stronger than you, smarter than you, more connected, more gifted. But if you can last longer than them, you win, because the world doesn't reward the fastest starter. It rewards the last one still fighting. There's a point where pain stops being pain and becomes power, where exhaustion stops breaking you and starts building you. Most people never reach that point because the road to it is ugly, it's lonely, and it feels endless. But that's where the ones who endure separate from the ones who dream. You ever watch a marathon? Everyone starts together, music, cheers, energy, but 10 miles in, the crowd thins out. The quitters start walking, the tired ones start fading, and suddenly, the real runners appear. Not the loud ones, not the ones with perfect gear, the ones who keep going when it hurts the most. That's life. Everybody wants success until they see what it costs. When the pain hits, most people look for the exit. But the ones who outlast everyone, they lean into it. They whisper to themselves, "Good, this means I'm getting stronger." That's their secret. They make peace with pain. They use it. They stay longer in the fire because they know the longer they burn, the purer they become. There was this kid. Every morning, before the sun rose, he'd run. The streets were empty. The air cut his lungs. His legs screamed. He wanted to stop. Every cell in his body begged him to stop. But he had made a promise. Not to win, not to be perfect, but to never quit early again. So he ran through the pain, through the doubt, through the cold that froze his fingers and his fears. And something changed. The pain didn't go away, but it started to mean something. He began to understand. Everyone feels the same pain, but only a few choose to keep moving through it. That's how he learned the secret. To outlast, you must stop fearing the discomfort, because discomfort is not the enemy. It's the door. The difference between the great and the forgotten is not talent. It's not luck. It's duration. They didn't quit when it got hard. They outlasted their excuses. They outlasted their fear. They outlasted the people who said, "You can't." And one day, they became the last one standing, the only one still climbing when everyone else sat down. If you want to win in this life, you have to decide, will I be another name that tried, or the one who refused to stop? Because here's the truth. Time will test you. It will take your strength, your motivation, your confidence, and then whisper, "Are you still going?" What will your answer be? There's a kind of strength that doesn't show in muscles. It shows in moments of silence. When you're alone, broken, and you still whisper, "I'm not done." That's power. Every person who ever made it to the top has lived through a season when nobody believed in them, when the doors were locked, when the road was long, when it hurt to breathe, and still they stayed. Still they worked. Still they believed, because they knew quitting doesn't make the pain stop. It only makes it pointless. But if you stay long enough, if you push through that impossible stretch, the pain turns into purpose. Let's be honest. Most people want the prize, not the process. They want the spotlight, not the scars. But the scars are what make you unstoppable. When you've been broken and kept moving, failure stops scaring you. Doubt loses its voice because you've seen worse. And you're still here. You don't have to be the best. You just have to be the last one willing to stand in the storm. So ask yourself, can you keep going when the excitement dies? When no one's watching? When the applause fades and all that's left is you and the grind? That's where you find out who you really are. Imagine you're trapped in a storm. The wind is loud. The rain stings your face. You can't see the end. Most people stop. They sit down, hoping the storm will pass. But the ones who outlast everyone, they keep walking. Because they know storms don't last forever. But if you sit still too long, you become part of the wreckage. Every step through the storm is a message. I will not be broken. That's what separates legends from the lost. Not who had the easiest path, but who refused to stop moving when it got dark. One day, that same kid who used to run in the cold found himself standing at a finish line he once thought was impossible. No crowd, no music, no applause, just silence and the sound of his own breathing. That's when he realized something powerful. It was never about being first. It was about being faithful. He didn't outshine anyone. He outlasted them. He didn't win because he was faster. He won because he refused to stop running. That's the truth about greatness. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's quiet persistence that refuses to die. Here's the secret most people never learn. Success isn't about how high you climb. It's about how long you can hold on. Everyone will hit a wall. Everyone will face the voice that says, it's not worth it. But the ones who win, they answer back, watch me. You have to become that person. The one who shows up after failure, after rejection, after humiliation. Because outlasting isn't glamorous. It's gritty, it's lonely, it's brutal. But when you've walked through hell and kept going, heaven feels earned. There's a moment that comes right before the breakthrough. A moment when everything in you screams to stop. That's the test. That's the edge. Most people turn back right there. They never realize how close they were. But what if you could push one more time? What if that one more day, one more rep, one more breath is all that separates you from everything you've ever wanted? That's what we'll uncover next. Because the secret to how to outlast everyone lies in what happens when your body gives up, but your mind refuses to. There comes a moment when your body says, I can't. Your lungs burn, your legs tremble, your mind screams, stop. And that's where most people quit. But not you, not the ones who were built to outlast. Because deep inside, under the shaking hands and pounding heart, there's a quiet voice that whispers, keep going. That voice is your edge. That's the part of you that can't be trained in a gym, bought with money, or borrowed from motivation videos. It's the part that refuses to die when everything else does. It's your second wind, your survival instinct, your will. You see, your body has limits, but your mind has none. Every person who's ever done the impossible hit a wall that should have stopped them, but something inside them snapped the other way. Instead of saying, I'm done, they said, not yet. That's the turning point no one talks about. It's the invisible line between good and great. You can't see it. You can't measure it. But once you cross it, you never go back to who you were before. Picture this. A soldier in the desert. 40 miles in. Sun above. Heat waves dancing like ghosts. His vision blurs. Every step feels like lifting mountains. He collapses to his knees. Body trembling. Throat dry, vision fading. He wants to quit. He needs to quit. But then he remembers he made a promise to himself to never let the pain make him a liar. So he gets up. He doesn't feel his legs anymore. He doesn't hear his heart pounding. He's somewhere else now, a place beyond pain. That's the zone of endurance, the space where the body breaks, but the spirit takes over. And when he crosses that finish line, he doesn't even remember how he did it, because he wasn't running on strength. He was running on will. You have to train your mind like a muscle. Most people only train the easy side, motivation, hype, excitement. But the mind grows strongest when it's stretched beyond comfort. When you want to give up, but don't. When you feel weak, but keep moving. That's how mental armor is built. Every time you keep going when it hurts, you add another layer to your strength. Every one more rep becomes a brick in your fortress. And one day, you'll realize the pain didn't break you. It built you. You know that voice that says, you can't do this? That voice that whispers, it's too much, just stop? That's not your enemy. That's your test. Every time it speaks, it's giving you a choice. to listen or to lead. Most people let that voice control them. The few who outlast everyone else, they talk back. They say, I hear you, but we're going anyway. And with every act of defiance, that voice gets quieter until one day it speaks and you laugh because you know it's lying. Hurting is a sign you're growing. Quitting is a sign you surrendered. And there's a massive difference. The pain you feel is not punishment. It's progress. Think about it. A seed has to crack before it grows. A diamond is formed under pressure. A sword is forged in fire. So why should you expect your story to be painless? When life presses you, when it stretches you, when it burns, it's not trying to destroy you. It's trying to prepare you. You're being refined, strengthened, sharpened. You're being built to outlast. Let's be real. You will reach moments where you want to walk away, where your dream feels like a burden, where nothing seems to move. That's not the end. That's the test. The universe asks one question to every fighter. How bad do you want it? If your answer is, until it's easy, you'll never make it. If your answer is, until I feel ready, you'll never start. But if your answer is, until I'm done, no matter how long it takes, then you've already won. Because nothing can defeat a mind that refuses to surrender. There's an old story of a climber. Halfway up a frozen mountain, a storm hits, winds howling, ropes shaking, snow blinding his eyes. He can't see the top. He can't feel his hands. He's freezing. He's terrified. Every voice in his head tells him to turn back. But he remembers what his mentor once said. Don't look at the top. Don't look back. Just take one more step. So he does. One step, then another, and then another. Hours later, he reaches the summit. Not because he was fearless, but because he was faithful. Sometimes, the only way to outlast is to forget about the finish line and focus on the next breath. One more step, one more push, one more day. That's how giants are made. The people who win are not the ones who never break. They're the ones who break and build themselves again. You will cry, you will fall, you will doubt, but every time you rise again, you become harder to kill. Every scar becomes a story. Every failure becomes a weapon. Until one day, you realize you've outlasted them all. Not because you were stronger, but because you never stopped. There's a point where you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start saying, this is happening for me. That's when everything changes. When you stop seeing struggle as punishment and start seeing it as preparation, the game flips. You stop running from a fire and start walking through it because you know you'll come out shining on the other side. That's what separates the ones who fade from the ones who last, the ones who suffer with purpose. If you want to outlast everyone, you must learn 3 things. 1, patience. The world rewards those who wait in motion. Keep building quietly while everyone else seeks quick fame. 2, resilience. You are not what happens to you. You are what you do after happens. 3, faith. When you can't see the finish line, trust that it's still there. Outlasting isn't just about strength. It's about staying power. It's about the belief that no matter what happens, you will find a way to keep standing. Here's the truth. Most people don't lose because they're not capable. They lose because they get tired of trying. They expect results too soon. They confuse progress with perfection. And when the results don't show fast enough, they walk away. But you can't outlast anyone. If you keep restarting every time it gets hard, you have to stay in it long enough to see the miracle happen. Every storm ends. Every fire cools. Every wound heals. And when it does, you look back and realize you didn't just survive. You grew. You'll see that every time you said, I can't, but did anyway, you build a strength nobody can take away. The ones who outlast aren't lucky. They're relentless. They keep standing up until standing becomes instinct. Because the truth is, the mind can push beyond what the body believes. But there's one more test. One that breaks even the strongest. It's not physical pain. It's not exhaustion. It's something deeper. The moment when time itself becomes your enemy. When you've done everything right, and still nothing happens. That's where most people finally let go. But the ones who outlast everyone, they find a way to wait without giving up. How do you do that? How do you keep believing when all signs say stop? The hardest part chasing a dream isn't starting. It's waiting. Waiting when you've done everything right. Waiting when the doors don't open. Waiting when the silence gets loud. You've pushed. You've sacrificed. You've endured pain, doubt, and exhaustion. And still nothing moves. That's when most people break. Not because they can't go on, but because they can't wait any longer. But the ones who outlast everyone, they learn to fight in the quiet. They learn the art of patience under pressure because they understand something the world forgets. The waiting season isn't punishment. It's preparation. Let's be honest. Waiting hurts. It's like watching a seed in the ground, knowing you planted it right, but nothing's sprouting yet. You start to wonder, did I do something wrong? Did I waste my time? Is this ever going to work? But what you can't see is that things are growing where your eyes can't reach. Roots are forming in the dark. Strength is building in silence. That's what most people never understand. The miracle starts beneath the surface. And those who outlast everyone, they learn to trust what they can't see. Think about it. If you dig up a seed, every time it doesn't grow fast enough, you'll kill it. The same goes for your dream. You can't keep checking if it's working. You have to keep watering it, believing that one day it will rise. Success doesn't shout at you from the ground. It whispers through patience. You have to learn to sit with the silence, to keep working when the applause has stopped, to keep building when no one's watching, to keep believing when nothing changes. That's how you separate those who wish from those who win. There was a boxer once. He trained every day in a small, broken gym. No audience, no sponsors, no recognition. He fought for years. No big fights, no titles, no fame. Just blood, sweat, and empty nights. People told him to give up. Your time's over, they said. You missed your chance. But he didn't stop. He kept training, kept swinging, because he knew you don't lose when no one's watching. You lose when you stop watching your own growth. And then one day, out of nowhere, his call came. A fighter dropped out. He was called to fill in. One fight, one shot. And because he stayed ready in the waiting, he didn't need time to prepare. He was already prepared. He won that fight. And every fight after that, not because he was more talented, but because he outlasted everyone who quit early. Patience isn't quiet acceptance. It's silent war. Every day you wake up and choose to believe, even when nothing is happening. You're fighting back against doubt. You're training your spirit to hold steady in the storm. Most people confuse silence with stagnation. But silence is where your strength matures. It's where you learn to depend on discipline, not dopamine. Because excitement fades, but endurance, that stays. There will be nights when you'll sit alone, thinking about everything you've done, and you'll wonder if it matters. You'll look around and see others winning, getting ahead, living the dream you're still building. It'll hurt, it'll sting, it'll make you question your worth. But hear me, your time will come, because waiting doesn't mean forgotten. It means under construction. Every great thing takes time. Every strong person has a quiet season the world never saw. The question is, can you keep showing up when no one claps? Because that's the real test. Just because it's delayed doesn't mean it's denied. Sometimes the universe slows you down to prepare the ground ahead. Sometimes it keeps you hidden because you're not ready for the weight of what's coming. The waiting season is your training camp. The longer it lasts, the stronger you'll be when the door finally opens. So stop cursing the delay. Start respecting it. Because while others rush ahead unprepared, you'll be grounded, sharpened, and steady. And when your moment comes, you'll not only rise, you'll stay there. Time will test your loyalty to your dream. It'll whisper, it's too late. It'll tempt you to take shortcuts. But shortcuts don't build roots. They only build regret. The ones who outlast everyone understand. You can't rush destiny. You can only be ready when it arrives. So keep building quietly. Keep refining your craft. Keep doing the small things no one sees. Because one day, the things you did in silence will speak so loudly, the world will have no choice but to listen. Let's face it, everyone loves a victory story, but nobody claps for the process. The world rewards results, but time rewards those who prepare. The waiting season is where your character is built. It's where your motives are purified. It's where you learn to love the work more than the reward. And when you reach that point, you become unstoppable, because the ones who love the process will always outlast the ones who only love the prize. There was once a potter who spent months shaping a single clay pot. Day after day, he'd work the same piece, turning it slowly, gently, carefully. A friend asked, "Why are you wasting so much time on one pot?" The potter smiled and said, "Because when it faces a fire, I don't want it to crack." That's what the waiting season is. It's the shaping, the molding, the strengthening, so that when the fire of opportunity comes, you don't fall apart. You stand firm, because you've been through heat before. The waiting season doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means everything important is happening. Inside you, you're being refined, matured, stretched. Every delay is adding depth to your story. Every unanswered prayer is creating endurance in your soul. And one day, when your time comes, you won't have to chase it. It'll find you ready. Because you didn't just wait. You grew while waiting. To outlast everyone, you must understand this truth. Growth happens in the dark, when no one is cheering, when no one notices, when you feel invisible. That's where your roots dig deep. That's where your greatness takes shape. So don't rush the process. Don't compare your timeline. Don't despise the quiet. Silence doesn't mean God forgot you. It means He's still working on you. Every person who ever achieved greatness walked through the waiting season. They were ignored before they were respected. They were doubted before they were celebrated. They were overlooked before they were overbooked. But they stayed. They outlasted. They believed. And when their moment finally came, they were ready. You will be too. But there's one more test. One final stage that even the patient struggle to survive. It's when success finally arrives. And you must find the strength to stay grounded. Because outlasting isn't just about surviving the storm. It's about surviving the sunshine. How do you stay humble, hungry, and focused when the world finally claps for you? You made it. The door finally opened. The crowd finally clapped. The world finally saw what you always knew you had. You won. But now comes the hardest part. Because success is not the end of the battle. It's the beginning of a new one. Most people think losing ends a dream. But in truth, winning does. Because comfort kills more ambition than failure ever could. You fought to reach the top. Now you must fight to stay there. The moment you win, something dangerous happens. The hunger that used to drive you starts to fade. The fire that used to burn hot turns into warm pride. And slowly, without noticing, you start relaxing. You start celebrating longer than you should. You start believing the applause means you've arrived. That's how people lose their edge. They confuse the finish line for the starting line of the next race. You see, outlasting everyone isn't just about enduring failure. It's about surviving success. Because success whispers a softer lie than failure ever could. You've done enough. But have you? There was once a young athlete who trained like his life depended on it. Every day was war. He was unstoppable. He won everything. But after his biggest victory, he took a break. A small one, then another, until one day, his body was still strong, but his spirit had gone soft. When he returned to the field, he couldn't find that same fire. He had lost the hunger that built him. Because once you taste comfort, discipline starts to feel like punishment. And that's how greatness quietly fades. Not in one loud fall, but in a slow, silent drift. The difference between legends and memories is that legends keep chasing when the applause stops. Winning once doesn't make you a winner forever. You have to re-earn it every day. Every sunrise asks, "Are you still hungry?" Every victory comes with a new enemy, complacency. When you reach the top, it's not time to rest. It's time to rebuild. The same work that got you there won't keep you there, because the mountain doesn't stop growing. Neither can you. There was once a king who conquered many lands. He had wealth, soldiers, glory, everything. But every night before he slept, he lit a small candle beside his bed. When his servant asked why, the king said, "This flame reminds me that my light can go out any day." That's how he stayed humble. That's how he stayed hungry. He never let success blind him into thinking he was invincible. Because the moment you stop respecting the climb, you start rolling downhill. The first mountain you climb is for success. The second mountain is for purpose. The first one is about proving people wrong. The second one is about proving yourself right. The first one is built on ambition. The second one is built on gratitude. The ones who outlast everyone don't chase trophies forever. They evolve. They shift from chasing validation to building legacy. Because true greatness isn't about how high you rise. It's about how deep your roots go when you do. Here's the truth. Success is never owned. It's rented. And the rent is due every single day. You don't get to keep it just because you once earned it. You have to defend it, refine it, and outgrow it. The moment you stop paying rent, it gets taken away. That's why most people fade after their first win. They think the work is over. But those who outlast everyone, they know the work has only begun. Winning isn't about arriving. It's about expanding. You don't stop climbing after one peak. You look for the next one, not out of greed, but out of growth. Because the same fire that built you will die if it's not fed. So feed it. Keep setting goals that scare you. Keep putting yourself in rooms that challenge you. Keep finding battles that make you sweat again. That's how you stay alive inside. There was once a builder who created a masterpiece. People came from everywhere to see it. They called him a genius. But when they asked, "What will you do next?" he smiled and said, "Build again." He didn't stop because one project was perfect. He kept building because creation was who he was. He didn't live for applause. He lived for purpose. And that's the mindset of the few who outlast everyone. They don't rest on what they've done. They live for what's next. You have to remind yourself why you started. When success starts whispering, "You've made it," answer back, "I'm just getting started." Because hunger is not a feeling, it's a choice. And staying hungry doesn't mean never being satisfied. It means never being stagnant. It's okay to celebrate, but don't camp there. Celebrate briefly, then get back to work quietly. Because the higher you rise, the more discipline it takes to stay grounded. At some point, you'll realize the goal isn't to outshine others. It's to outlast your old self. To wake up every day asking, "How can I grow from here?" That's legacy. It's not about the trophies on your shelf. It's about the people you inspired, the lives you touched, the lessons you left behind, the ones who outlast everyone. Don't chase attention. They chase impact. They don't just want to be remembered. They want to be remembered for something that mattered. When you reach the top and the noise fades, there's a quiet fire that burns inside. It's not loud anymore. It's steady, focused, pure. It's not about proving anymore. It's about preserving. Preserving your purpose, your humility, your discipline. Because real greatness is not built in the roar of the crowd, but in the quiet choices you make after the crowd goes home. The reward for outlasting everyone is not just success, it's transformation. You don't just achieve, you evolve. You become someone unbreakable, untouchable, unstoppable. You understand that winning isn't the destination, it's the permission to go further. And that's what the few understand. You never stop climbing, you just find higher mountains. To truly outlast everyone, you must conquer 3 battles. 1. The battle before success, when no one believes in you. 2. The battle during success, when everyone watches you. 3. The battle after success, when no one checks on you anymore. The first requires courage. The second requires humility. The third requires hunger. if you can win all three, you don't just survive, you endure. You don't just rise, you remain. You don't just win, you outlast. So now, after everything you've been through, the pain, the waiting, the grind, the victories, you stand here still breathing, still fighting, still burning. And that's what makes you dangerous. Not that you started, not that you succeeded, but that you refuse to stop. Because in a world where everyone wants fast wins, you chose to stay. You chose to endure. You chose to outlast. And that's why when the noise fades and the trends change and the faces disappear, you'll still be here. Not because you were the loudest, not because you were the best, but because you were the last one standing. That's what greatness really is. Endurance. So the next time you feel tired, remember what built you. The next time you win, remember who you were before the victory. And the next time someone quits, keep going. Because every time you push one step further, you prove to the world and to yourself that you were never here to compete. You were here to outlast. The race doesn't belong to the fastest. It belongs to the ones who keep running, long after everyone else has stopped. And when the world looks back, your story won't just be about success. It'll be about survival, persistence, and the fire that refused to die. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to stay in the game. Because in the end, the one who outlasts wins everything.